And the story was told of a young girl who had gone to an area in Kitui in Kenya. And this young girl was alone. And she was talking to young brides, on average with 2 children, talking to them about the finer points of family planning. And after she had finished, one of the women asked, "And how many children do you yourself have?" And the young girl said, "I have none." One of the women said, "You are therefore unqualified to talk about family planning." I do not quite hold that view. I do hold the view that sometimes seeing things from outside gives you certain insights, which those who are inside may never have. But yet I hold yet another view, that there is wisdom in having gone through personal experience, so that the experience, the theoretical experience of the young maiden who has never had a child must be complemented with the experience of those who have had actual experience. And that is why I think that those of you who are in Agra must ask yourself the fundamental question: why are you at Agra? Why are you at Agra? What is it that you want to be remembered for at Agra? What are the changes that you want to make at Agra? And these are very basic questions. What is it that motivates you? What is it that you want to do to ensure that Agra changes the face of Africa? Because Africa is a continent that has now made a declaration that in the year 2063, under Agenda 2063, she is going to be a middle-level economy. Africa has made that declaration. And Africa must therefore ask the fundamental question: what are the building blocks that will ensure that she realizes that agenda? Those of you who are from the African Union, I want to believe that agriculture must be at the very heart of it, because Africa can only realize Agenda 2063 if Africa can feed herself. You who are here, what are you doing to ensure that that dream is realized? In the 1980s, if you heard that somebody was traveling to Harare in Zimbabwe, there are 2 things that you asked when they came back. One, you asked them to bring back. The 2 others, you asked them to tell you what was happening about them. The thing that you asked them to bring back was a cotton shirt. They had very good shirts. The other thing that you asked them about was the quality of their farms, tobacco and agriculture. Today, when you come from Zimbabwe, with due respect to the Zimbabweans who are in the room, the only thing you ask, which is the currency that is now alive and well? Is it the rand, the dollar, or the yuan? And I give that example deliberately in order to demonstrate the fact that intervention in areas such as agriculture must also be accompanied by a political system that appreciates people's expertise. It is not the mere possession of the land that is the solver of the equation. The same farmers, some of them who are in Zimbabwe, have now gone to Zambia and to Nigeria, and they are replicating the very same things that they were doing in Zimbabwe. And the land left to the individuals who thought that land was the solver of the problem cannot produce. It is still in Zimbabwe. The land is in situ where it was. So the intervention must also be the kind of intervention that makes people realize that the knowledge must be resident in people's minds and expertise must be locally nurtured so that people are capable of using that expertise for the general good. The other thing that I think is important is to begin to educate the people, because I know you are concerned with smallholders in agriculture. But we must never forget that the game-changing agriculture must also be large-scale farming. We must ask ourselves, what are we doing with the irrigation projects that we find in different parts of Africa, in Kenya, whether it is in Egypt and different parts of the world? One must not lose sight of that. And one must ask, what are the inputs that we are utilizing in order to ensure that Africa actually realizes our potential? In a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, one can go on and on about Agra. One can go on and on about agriculture, but one must now wind down in order to ask certain fundamental questions. And to me, there are 10 questions that we must put on the table in order to ensure that Agra realizes her potential. Question number 1, which is the foundational question, is what is the reason why Agra was created? Why did we create Agra at all? And my understanding is that this organization exists for, among other things, for the sensitization of populations in a positive manner, that they can use the resource known as land to liberate themselves from the chains of poverty. Question number 2, which is equally foundational: what kind of interventions must Agra make which are sensitive to the realities of the organization and sensitive to the realities of the people that they intervene with? And my understanding is that Agra exists for, among other things, intervening in a manner that is sensitive to the cultural realities of the societies in which they intervene, and in a manner that is capable of addressing the economic needs and agenda of the country in which they are intervening. Question number 3 is, how does Agra intervene? Because the manner in which you intervene is critical to the acceptance of the agenda that you are injecting into the environment. Because there is a sense in which there must be a time when the child which has been adopted must be released so that they are able to go, so that Agra is capable of saying, behold, we found a child that was incapable of walking, but behold, because of our intervention, it can now walk. Number 5, what are the methods that you are using, and are they sustainable after your departure? In other words, are you entering into the arena with tools of engagement, which tools can be embraced, which tools can be understood, which tools, when deployed, are capable of being utilized in a manner that will be possible even after your departure? Question number 6 that we must have: with what agenda are you leaving? In other words, with what agenda are you entering the process? Are you entering the process with a view to ensuring that the economic health of that particular community is aided? And if you are going to do so, is it visible to that community, and are they capable of appreciating that your entry will make their lives better? And question number 7, once you have entered into the agenda, what engagements do you have with the local expertise that are present on the ground, so that they feel that they are part of the equation, and that once you leave, there are linkages which are there as a point of reference if need arises? And question number 8 that must be asked: what linkages are you creating for the people that you have intervened on their behalf, to ensure that if they produce their markets, because Africa sometimes produces things that it cannot sell? And question number 9, what interventions are you making to ensure that the externalities which may undermine the communities are mitigated, so that these communities are therefore protected from the dangers that may visit them? And lastly, the question that you who are present there are so wedded to the process that the people can see that your zeal and zest and vim and verve at once are transported to them, and that you own the processes as if they were your own. In my view, I believe that if those 10 things occupy the space which informs your engagement, then AGRA will be doing a good job. And very lastly, to NEPAD and to the African Union. African Union and NEPAD are useful institutions. What linkages do you have with organizations such as AGRA? What components of your budget find their way to AGRA, so that ultimately AGRA can be an organization that feeds from the breast of Africa? This is the question that African Union must ask. This is the question that NEPAD must ask. And if you ask these questions and answer them boldly, I have no doubt in my mind, African Union, that Africa will realize her Agenda 2063. Permit me to stop there. Thank you.
So, Professor, I want to ask, if you have so much traverse in the governance process, all right, on which agriculture also depends, what do we do? Okay, because today you introduce few things that you think will make a change. Now new sets of people come, they have different agenda, all right, and sustainability is crucial for what we are doing. So how do we move in that regards? Thank you.
One of the key elements of this is, that governments don't feed their countries. Countries are fed by networks of